Hey, parents, caregivers, how are you doing today? This is one of my favorite topics to talk on. We're going to be diving into the world of our emotions today, supporting ourselves and supporting our children. And so the topic is this concept of co-regulation creating extra pressure and stressing us out as parents? And so this live is for you if you do experience high emotions in your family, either with yourself, with your kids, if you're raising strong-willed and highly sensitive children, if you're reading about co-regulation and you're wanting to put it into practice, or you've never heard of it, this live is for you. So we're going to define co-regulation and define emotions, which I feel like is an abstraction that we don't often get to define. And then I'm going to share the unique approach that we take in Happy Home Coaching. And so I have co-created this work on our emotions and fostering healthy emotional development through my own experience of high stress parenting and from working alongside thousands of caregivers and parents over the last 12 years. So if you are enjoying this live as you're watching it and you want to take it a step further, I'm going to be talking about some ways that you can do that, and I'll just cover them briefly now, and I'll make sure to share the links. I have a free Upgrade Our Parenting guide for 2025 with the 6 key messages that I share. Connected to that is a $99 coaching session that you can get. I have a Calm the Storm masterclass. It's pre-recorded, it's very in-depth, and I'll share the link to that. And anyone who purchased that this week, I'll go ahead and add on a 30-minute coaching session to that as well. The Calm the Storm masterclass is very in-depth. It's 2 hours of content. So if you really want to dive into the world of emotions in your family. And then also I'm taking that training, that Calm the Storm training, is also a professional development training for early childhood educators. And I'm going to be offering that in a statewide training in May. So if you work in early childhood education, you have your own childcare center, please be sure to reach out and I'll share that information to you. Lastly, Happy Home Coaching. I have a 4-week community class series that's starting next week. It's just $199. I haven't offered a parenting class in a while. I'm excited to do that. And then if you want to learn more about Happy Home Coaching, that's an intensive intervention level of support for 8 to 12 weeks, and that starts at $1,500 a month. So I'll be sharing more details about that at the end, but let's go ahead now and dive into the content. Okay, so I went for the definition of co-regulation and self-regulation. I went to the Child Mind Institute. I love the Child Mind Institute. I think they're an amazing resource for families, and I do not like the definition that they shared. So co-regulation means, okay, well, first let's start with self-regulation. The definition they share, to manage our own emotions. And co-regulation is when 2 people help each other manage their emotions. And usually it's the adult helping their child manage their emotions. So chances are, if you're watching this live, you're wired a bit like me, or your children are wired this way. My emotions are not here to be managed. They are not. In fact, the word managed means to control. And that is not the definition of that I want in connected to my emotions. My goal from the definition that is widely shared by experts, including the Child Mind Institute, which again, I like them, is to manage our emotions. And I'm here to say, I don't want my emotions to be managed or controlled. I want to trust my emotions. And so that's why I think this definition of co-regulation, if you're a conscious parent and you're taking time listening to the podcast and reading the blog posts and you're following the experts on Instagram or TikTok, and you're like, this definition of co-regulation is creating extra stress for me, This is why. Because it puts this expectation that we're always supposed to be calm. It's this value on calm. We're always supposed to be managed. Our emotions are supposed to be contained. And that is a very puritanical, whitewashed, colonized view of our emotions and co-regulation. So let's peel the layers back. What actually are our emotions and what do they represent in our life? Our emotions are everything in this life. Our emotions point an arrow to what we care about and what we value, to what we're passionate about, to our sense of justice. Emotions are the way we connect with other people. So emotions are connected to the way we are in relationship. And emotions also let us know when we're feeling felt safety in the world. So emotions, as much as they're our indicator of love and values and passion and relationship, they're also the safeguards of our life. Our emotions, in a lot of ways, are like the security guards to our life, telling us if we feel safe in certain situations. And so for me, all those definitions of emotions, I don't want to be managing them. I don't want to be this definition of co-regulation that the experts are sharing with us. I don't want to be controlling all that or trying to manage that. In fact, I want to be in a trusting relationship with my emotions. And I want that for you. And I want that for our kids and for the next generation. I want all of us to trust what we're passionate about, what we love, our sense of justice, the way we show up in relationship connection to other people. And I want us to trust when we felt safety in the world and when we don't. And so I want us all to reclaim this definition of co-regulation as being able to trust our emotions and to help our children trust our emotions. So let me know if you're catching the replay. Let me know, do you connect with this definition of emotions and co-regulation as being in this trusting relationship with our emotions and helping to develop this in the next generation? Let me know if you relate to this. I'd love to hear. Because when I shifted this definition of co-regulation for myself and in my work as a parent and then for other parents, it's really been a game changer. Okay, so for like a working model of co-regulation, I like to borrow what Dr. Dan Siegel says about our children's brains. And Dr. Dan Siegel says that our children's brains are like sponges. They are literally sponging off of our brains to develop their own. So if you see it, this could be a model of our adult's brain. Okay, so it's fully formed by age 25, but it can change throughout the lifespan. We're always changing and growing our brains through positive relationship connection with ourselves and with others. Okay, but this is our brain. And then this is our children's brains. They are literally just sponging and growing their brains off of our fully formed brain. And this is the power and the responsibility of parenting. And so our goal in Happy Home Coaching is to foster healthy emotional development, which I see as trusting our emotions and being able to express and integrate our emotions in positive, safe, and healthy ways. And guess what? You get to define what expressing and integrating emotions in positive, safe, and healthy ways looks like for your family. I share examples, I share possibilities, but ultimately you're the decider based on the unique individual temperament, family values, cultural values, and brain wiring in your family. And then I help you integrate that. And we're going to be focusing on that some in our upcoming Happy Home class. And that's a big part of what I do in Happy Home Coaching. Okay, so what's the number one obstacle, besides from the high stress levels that we're facing as parents today, is that most of us didn't grow up with a foundation of healthy emotional development. And if you did, share a yes below, because that's incredible. You just know that you're in the minority. And if your parents and caregivers are still here with us today, call them and thank them, because most of us did not grow up with healthy emotional development. We didn't learn how to trust our emotions, and we didn't learn how to express all the emotions and integrate all the emotions in safe, healthy, and positive ways, okay? So what is that? Why does that create an obstacle for us today? Well, think about it. Think about if I asked you to teach your children how to read or ride a bike, but you never learned how. Your parents and caregivers never taught you. Would it be easy or hard to teach your children how to ride a bike or read if you didn't know how? It would be really hard, right? You wouldn't really be able to do it. But that's what we're being called to do today. Most of us were not taught. We didn't have healthy emotional development modeled for us. And yet there's so much expectations and pressure on parents to co-regulate, to manage, to be calm. And we don't have the foundation within ourselves in order to do that. And it would literally be like teaching our kids how to ride a bike or learn how to read when we didn't know how ourselves. So this is the invitation for parents today. And it's what I do in Happy Home Coaching and what we'll be focusing on in the upcoming class. So the first step to co-regulation and fostering healthy emotional development for our children is to peel it back and focus on ourselves. And this can be exceedingly difficult to do if you're parenting under the high stress of parenting today. It's like, okay, well, when do I have time to do this? But the reality is if you're dealing with high emotions in your family and lots of dysregulation, then you're already doing the work. You're already putting the time in. Where I come in is supporting you with the tools so you can feel empowered. You can feel really supportive of yourself and of your children. Okay? So here's the first steps and some tools that I hope that you can take home today, or areas where you feel like, okay, that's what I'm working on, and Megan, that's where you might be able to support me. So first, we have to give ourselves the emotional support that we weren't given as children. And if you want to learn more about this, then go ahead and sign up for my free guide, Upgrade Our Parenting 2025. And this is I share 6 key messages that I'm always working on with my clients. And this is one of them, that we have to be able to, or we get to, give the emotional support to ourselves that was missing from our own childhood experience. Okay, and what does that look like? For some of my clients, that looks like just awareness of your emotional needs. Many of my clients will tell me, Megan, I didn't even realize that in this interaction with my child that I actually had unmet emotional needs coming up. And this is some of the most profound work that we can do together to help you tune into, to become aware of your own emotions, and then to set up a process to meet your unmet emotional needs that are usually being activated by certain interactions, behavior challenges, or times of emotional dysregulation with your own children. And the amazing part that I find is time and time again, when you're having unmet emotional needs activated by your children's behavior, one, you might not even know that's what's happening. So I can come in and help you bring that gentle awareness. Two, when you develop a plan to meet your own emotional needs and to believe it's possible to meet your own emotional needs, because that can be the other thing that happens is you're aware that you have emotional needs, but you're like, I don't actually believe that I can have met emotional needs in my given life reality. And we work together to make that possible. Then what you need is usually some form of what your children need as well. So it's really this beautiful kind of cyclical but intergenerational healing we do around emotions. So awareness of emotional needs, meeting emotional needs, and creating this felt safety and trust of your emotions, that all your emotions are okay to feel. And that gives us permission to support our children's emotions and to really send the message to our kids that I got this. Whatever emotions you're feeling, I got this. And I want to take a moment to honor those of us who are parenting with PTSD, CPTSD as childhood trauma survivors. Remember that part of our emotions are these security guards and safeguards of our life. And many of us, maybe most of us parenting today, sadly, we've been in unsafe, in dangerous, in painful, in harmful situations in our lives that naturally our emotions have been activated to let us know that we're not safe. Well, what can happen is if we're parenting after trauma, when our children express and demonstrate those natural human emotions that were activated within us during times where we were legitimately unsafe in our lives, well, guess what? Guess what that's like? That's like parenting nonstop with the smoke alarm going off in our house, with an ambulance, with the siren going on and the red lights flashing. That's what it's like in our system for those of us who are parenting after the experience of trauma. And so parents often have a lot of self-judgment and self-criticism. And again, this comes up with this pressure of co-regulation, where you're like, I have this 3-alarm fire response to my children's anger, to my children's tears. And we just have to peel back in a very safe and supportive way, and you might be working with your therapeutic team to do this, and I might come on board to apply it to parenting, but we create that empathy and that compassion and that safety for those emotions that were legitimately unsafe at certain times in your life. And again, if you're doing this work of parenting after trauma, it's a whole other layer of parenting that people who haven't experienced trauma just aren't working on. And so please just know, if you're parenting after trauma, that you're not alone, that there's a lot of us out there, and to have that compassion and empathy, if it's hard to receive that for yourself, receive it as part of the community of parents who have that lived experience that all of us are working on. And also just know that Happy Home Coaching is designed to support you, because I get that firsthand from my own life experiences. Okay? So once we've got that awareness of your emotional needs, we've got that felt safety for your emotions, we're supporting you through your unique life experiences, then we're creating ways. When you've got the awareness, you've got the trust, you've got the felt emotional safety. Now we're teaching you how to express and integrate your emotions in ways that your system, not my system, your system feels are positive and safe and healthy. Okay? And so we get all of that online for you. We give you that foundation of healthy emotional development you were missing from your childhood. And then once you have it online, remember, your kids are just sponging off of your brain. Once you've created that neural pathway, then your kids just are sponging off of that. And that's why when I'm working with parents on this huge emotional work and filling in these gaps and really healing our life experiences through the act of parenting, that in and of itself is going to allow our kids to co-regulate, to trust their emotions, to be able to express them in safe and positive and healthy ways. And then there's probably going to be ways where we're adapting what you're doing for where your kids are developmentally, or if your kids' temperament and brain wiring are very different than yours, then there'll be adaptations to be made, okay? So, co-regulation. If it's stressing you out, if it's creating extra pressure in your life, it's because the definition we're taught is that co-regulate means to manage or control our emotions. And we want to kick that definition out the window and instead develop a way of being with our emotions. That means that we can trust our emotions, that we can soothe through our emotions. We can trust the wisdom of our emotions, and we can take that wisdom and then we can channel it, not shut it down, because that's the other definition that becomes attached to that of co-regulation when we're trying to manage or control and be calm all the time. It's a shutting down, and we don't want to shut down. We want to channel. We want to express and integrate in safe and positive and healthy ways. And so in Happy Home Coaching, we're working with this definition of co-regulation that's about trust, not control, not managing, and it's not shutting down to be calm all the time, which means usually we're repressing our emotions and are exploding anyway, or we're shutting down and what's the word, kind of like gaslighting ourselves or not supporting. I don't know, there's a word that isn't coming to mind right now. We're kind of negating our own experiences. Instead, we want to channel our emotional experiences. We want to integrate them. And it's an expansive view of our emotions that we're sharing with our children. Not this puritanical, shutting down, control, oppressing, repressing, and having to be calm all the time. Guys, so tell me what you think. If you're catching the replay, if you're still here, what is your one takeaway from today? And then I want to dive into the ways, because I see that 80, 90, 99% of us have not had this support that we need and deserve around healthy emotional development, around emotions as trust in our lives. I want to share some ways that you can get support. So one, totally free. Always, you can go through my Happy Home Week. It's my Positive Parenting Masterclass. If you go to meganbarilla.com, you click on Masterclass, you're going to get 5 days of weekly videos and some follow-up videos to support your parenting journey, including healthy emotional development. And guess what? That includes a free 30-minute coaching session with me. Go through that. That's an amazing way that parents both sample my approach, and then also get free support. It's my community service program for families. Second, free resource, the Upgrade Our Parenting 2025 guide. I took this guide I created at the top of the year with our administration, because everything that's going on in the world and the white supremacy we're seeing in this administration has a parenting paradigm connected with it. And guess what? It's our default parenting that gets activated when we're under stress. And so this year, with everything that's going on in the world, is this incredible opportunity to upgrade our parenting 2025. And so when you sign up for the free guide, again, if you go to meganbarilla.com, it's going to come up as the pop-up. Sign up, you'll get the 6 key messages, and then you'll have the opportunity to sample Happy Home Coaching in a $99 1-hour coaching session. And so it's a really accessible way to explore working together. And if you are a returning client, you can go ahead. You can get that at a $99 session as well. At first, I was having it just for new clients, but then I'm like, hey, returning clients might as well avail of this as well. Number 3, I decided for the first time since the pandemic, I'm going to offer a straight up parenting class. It's going to be 4 weeks. It's still going to be a small group with individualized support, but this is a really nice price point. It's $199, and you get to sample Happy Home Coaching. It is it's going to be from the perspective of high stress parenting. And so if you have neurodiverse family members and you're trying to figure out how everyone can thrive in a neurotypical world, if you are, a trauma survivor and you're experiencing PTSD, CPTSD, if you're parenting under the high stress of parenting today, we're going to come together in a community. And right now, this is for families with children under age 5, under age 7. And I would think about starting one for older kids, parents of older kids, if there's interest. So message me if that's something you're interested in. $199 for this 4 weeks for a high level of support. And if your family's experienced a lot of financial stress, I'm setting up payment plans for that $199 a month as well. Okay. If you want to access my full Happy Home Coaching premium experience of intensive intervention for your family, that includes the education, the coaching sessions, and me being on call for your family, that price point starts at $1,500 a month. And reach out, and please, a great way to see if Happy Home Coaching is a good fit for your family is to go to my Google my name, go to my Google page, and then read what parents are saying about working together. And you'll get a good understanding if Happy Home Coaching is a good fit for your family. Okay, so catching the replay, share what is your number one takeaway from today. And then please don't struggle alone. Access my free resources, join our community class, send me a message to learn more about Happy Home Coaching, and we can hop on a complimentary consultation. Don't struggle alone. Remember that we're being called as parents today to do the work for the next generations that generations before us very often weren't able to do. And that tends to be the rule. If your family is the exception, then definitely thank your parents and caregivers. But for most of us, especially in this work on healthy emotional development, we didn't learn how as kids. So we're going to fill that gap for ourselves, and we're going to fill that gap for the next generation. Be good to yourselves, and I'll see you again next week for our next Monday Live.